Tired of the everyday grind? Want to get away from it all?
Descend into paradise.
Florida.
Greetings, everybody, from sunny Florida. Here's wishing you the best of everything. And it's my personal belief that the best of everything comes from right down here.
Well, hello again, everybody. This is Steph from justadayinparadise.com, and welcome to episode 16 of Just a Podcast in Paradise. Me and the Dip crew love living in the Sunshine State, and it's our goal to help you plan for your very own day in paradise. With all there is to see, do, and experience, we know that planning for your Florida vacation can be overwhelming, so don't worry, because we've got your back. We'll do the research, and you reap the benefits. Also, guys, what kind of friends would we be if we didn't offer you something to drink or a snack while we hang out? So for today's episode, we're having a hurricane party. We're ready if you are, so kick up your feet, throw on your shades, and let's take a trip to paradise. Well, hi, Lauren.
Hey, Steph.
We've got Lauren on the phones with us today. Lauren on the phones with us today. Too gay today. That's Pepper. She's leaving. Pepper's exited the room. Like any real hurricane party, the pets are going to get in the way. So today we also have Cricket, Pepper, and Chooch in the studio causing all sorts of havoc. They can't say hi, but they mean to. So how you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. I made myself, I figured maybe you could help me name it. So I was trying to think of a cocktail that is kind of reminiscent of my hurricane memory, or my it's both my fondest and my worst memory. When we evacuated to Georgia. So I've got fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Nice.
I've got Firefly sweet tea lemonade, because it's a little southern, right? And some club soda to kind of thin it out a little bit so you can still drive.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what do you think we should call it?
Oh, gosh. Well, okay, so technically, your trip was over to Atlanta, right?
Right.
Oh, gosh. I don't know that I'm creative enough. Okay, it's got lemon.
It's got lemon. How about when a hurricane hands you lemons?
Yeah. ...
And that's just the name of the drink.
Adult lemonade.
Right. We're going to be drinking. Perfect. Good.
I like that. Yeah, when life gives you lemon.
Yeah. So, perfect segue. It is officially hurricane season, and I got the inspiration for this episode as we just had our first named storm of the year. Did you hear about?
I did.
Well, he wasn't the first named
storm,
storm, but it was the first named storm that was going to make landfall in Florida.
Yes, and that was like coming for us and everything. Well, I heard that our father got some rain. I went outside. I can't remember where I was driving, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is like part of that storm, right?"
Right.
And that was pretty much all.
Is this the storm? Or
that was like the
storm?
only involvement I had with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Hurricane Isias. Isias?
So it actually was a hurricane, not a tropical storm?
It was a hurricane. Isias. Well, it was a tropical storm when it hit us, and I think it was a hurricane in the Caribbean, and then a tropical storm, and then it became a Category 1 up into South Carolina. So it was a tropical storm when it made landfall in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it got me thinking about how difficult it can be to plan trips for this time of year, especially if you're not from Florida. So have you ever had plans spoiled by a hurricane?
I know for sure I've had like smaller plans and probably like several vacation days like ruined by a storm, but not like hurricane per se, but enough where it's like, oh, we were going to go out and do this cool thing and now we have to stay in our hotel or something like that, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, me too. And I think that's kind of the thing, and we're going to get into some detail about the likelihood of a major storm hitting. But it's like the anticipation and the unknowing that, what's going to happen, or, even just a difference of, 20 to 50 miles in one direction or the other. You might not see any rain at all. So it can be hard to really anticipate what's going to happen to your trip. I remember one time we were going to Orlando, and where, you know, there's always that one hotel that you always want to stay at and you have big dreams about what you're going to do when you get there. So this hotel, I think it is by the convention center. I know it's a Hilton, but they have that. Okay. I think I got you and Trent reservations there. They've got the big lazy river.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so it's a really, really nice hotel. They have multiple pools, a huge lazy river. All the rooms are really nice. So we were really excited about staying there. And a tropical storm hit for the weekend or a few days that we were there. And it was such a big storm that it just like sat over us for days. So it wasn't like one day was ruined. No. Yeah, it was terrible, but every day was ruined.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And when I say ruined, it, you know, it kind of forces you to be like, okay, so what are we going to do now? And, you know, we got a chance to utilize the spa while we were there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and we learned all about the pleasures of a eucalyptus steam room.
Oh, that's very delightful.
Yeah, so, you know, you have, like, the unexpected things, but, you know, if you're not planning to spend that kind of money or, you know, or if you didn't know what the other amenities are.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, it's always good to have, like, an amenity backup or, like, a rainy day backup. Because that actually, now that you say that, that's really funny. When we went there, me and Trent, to go have, like, a weekend away from the kids, we were there. And
it's like a unicorn.
It rained really bad.
Wait, what? You know a lot about unicorns. So a weekend away from the kids is like a unicorn in its own right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And while the kids stay home with their actual unicorns. Right. Yeah. But, we stayed at that exact hotel, and it did rain pretty badly one day. And instead of, like, going in the lazy river, basically, we were there for a little bit, and it was really cloudy, and then it was drizzling, and I was freezing. And I was like, okay, let's do something else. And we actually went to, like, the Ripley's Museum in that area.
Oh, that's fun.
And that was pretty fun. It was a way to kill time, and it was something to do, and it wasn't crazy expensive, so it was fun.
Yeah, and sometimes it's fun to, like, do the weird touristy things. Like, we overlook them. Yeah. Like, Wonderworks is another one in Orlando that's, like, kind of kitschy, but even as an adult that wants to act like a kid, it's fun. It's not that expensive, and it's all inside. So
exactly.
That's a great idea.
And it's something to do. Exactly.
Yeah. So today we're going to offer up some hurricane season clarity, debunk some myths, and give you some tips on how to plan for the unexpected. So do you know... I know, because I have the notes in front of me. But do you know when hurricane season starts and ends?
Ooh, I'm pretty positive it's like 6 months out of the year. So I believe
it's
June
a huge
to November.
Chunk, But they shouldn't call it hurricane season. Yeah. It should just be called hurricane most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much when it's warm as possible. You know,
right, when you want to be outside, it's hurricane season.
Literally. Yeah, when the kids are off from school, when you're on vacation, that's pretty much when you're going to have a hurricane.
Right. Yeah, so hurricane season, you were right, it is when it's warm. It's June 1st to November 30th, and the peak of activity occurs around September 10th each season. So
that sure feels right. August,
September 10th is the hot day. Well, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the producer wants to input something. What was that? That's the day Irma hit. Wow. See? This is accurate. This is the most accurate podcast you'll be listening to, guys.
Yeah.
Out of all of iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. We're now available on iHeartRadio. Thanks for listening. All right. So Atlantic storms cover a wide area, including the entire Gulf Coast from Cancun to Florida, the Caribbean islands, and many states along the eastern seaboard of the U.S. Florida is the most prone to hurricanes. It's kind of like, I think because we're like hanging out there like a hurricane catcher.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss Florida if you're a hurricane. Like hurricanes can be really polite for all we know, but it's like, what are they supposed to do? They're going to hit.
We're just kind of in the way.
Right. Yeah. Florida.
You're like, I was trying to go to Texas. But...
Right. It's funny that you say Texas because Florida has been hit by more than twice as many hurricanes as the second most affected state, which is Texas.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Which is funny because you'd think it would be like Georgia or South Carolina because if it curves, but it's actually if the hurricane like passes down below like, you know, Key West or, you know, up to Cuba and it goes around the back end of the state, it's going to hit the warm waters of the Gulf and go to Texas. So, little fun fact. If you're a meteorologist.
The spaghetti models,
the spaghetti models. So, let's talk about the strongest hurricanes. So, of all the hurricanes to hit Florida between 1900 and now, the 14 strongest hurricanes to ever hit out of the 14 strongest hurricanes to ever hit Florida, only 4 of them happened after 1992. Do you think you could name any of them?
I know for a fact Hurricane Andrew was something like they
Yep.
still talked about when we were growing up, and that like decimated Miami.
Yep.
We had a really bad year when I was in like high school, I want to say, and oh gosh, I know there was like Francis, Charlie, and
Yep, you got
another one
Charlie.
that hit
Ding,
where
ding,
we
ding.
were.
It's like you're on Cash
There
Cab.
we go. Yeah. Because when it hit us, like when it came to us, it was like a cat 3 or 4. It was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a very strong hurricane. And then other than that, I mean, I know Irma was like huge, like size wise,
Yep.
right?
Irma was
Wasn't
one.
that
Her
the one that
was
was really
strength
big?
and size. And then
Yeah.
one that you probably won't get because it was a little bit before our
Yeah.
time was Michael. So
Okay.
Andrew, Michael,
Yeah.
Charlie, Irma. So the
Okay.
odds of a devastating hurricane to hit the city that you're visiting in the time that you're here on vacation is pretty low. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get some rain or some wind
Yeah.
or some annoyance. So
You will most likely get rain.
yeah, we'll most likely get rain if you're here in the summer. 2005 was the worst season with 15 hurricanes named and hitting the state. There is, however, a pretty good chance, like we said, that you're going to get rain and even encounter some level of a storm. So let's talk about the difference in all the tropical disturbances, because it's not just hurricanes that you have to worry about. What else is there?
Well, there's tropical storm
Yep.
and tropical depression.
Yep.
And I think that's it. I mean, other than your casual summer thunderstorm midday.
Right. No, which can stink too, depending on what your plans are. And then, when you're listening to the news, you want to listen for the difference between a hurricane watch and a hurricane warning. A hurricane watch is issued when sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher are possible within the specified area of watch. And a warning is issued when sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher are expected. So it's basically just about the vicinity and then the accuracy of the track when you have a difference between a watch and a warning. So a watch is like, nobody's like panicking yet. A warning is like, you should have your water and toilet paper and baked beans by now because you're pretty much done.
You're not going anywhere, buddy.
Exactly. Hurricane warnings can even remain in effect when the winds aren't so bad, but you get dangerously high water levels or the storm surge that they talk so much about. And then
Very important for the coast.
very important if you're planning a beach getaway. Or if you really like surfing, because that's a great time to jump in the water and risk your life for the sake of a thrill. I was watching the news. It wasn't last night, but whenever Isias hit, I think it was Georgia or South Carolina, they were showing, the weatherman is in the, in the frame, and he's like, it's getting crazy out here. The waves are wild. And it's like really dramatic, and there's like water pouring all over him. And then in the background just runs this like shirtless guy, and he's like stomping around in the water that had looked a lot deeper than it actually was. So it's like, they dramatize a lot of the stuff. Yeah. But the thing that
they sure do.
Yeah, they really do. They really like to get your blood pressure boiling. But the thing you're more likely to encounter is a tropical storm or a tropical depression. So a storm is going to have a little bit slower winds than a hurricane. You're looking at 39 to 73. So you probably get like maybe some downed trees. Maybe if you live in an area that is very susceptible to power outages, you might get like a flicker. And then a tropical depression is pretty slow winds at 38 miles per hour and not a ton of rain, but definitely lots of clouds. So if you hear one of those things, trip's not canceled, but you're going to want to grab a poncho.
Yeah. You might want to have a plan B.
Right, exactly. So Floridians don't really start to sweat a hurricane until it's probably a category 3. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
The producer
you hear
says
category
4.
1.
She's like, bring on a category 6.
Wait, who was that?
That's Lulu.
Lulu?
Yeah, we
That's
call her the
hysterical.
producer. Yeah, because she pipes up every once in a while with some fun facts. Or she corrects
That's
me.
awesome. Yeah.
And whatever
From the other-
misinformation I'm putting out into the universe. Yeah, so...
I mean, you'll find some Floridians who literally aren't convinced regardless of anything. They're like, I'm going to hold on to, my one plank of wood on the side of my house if it's a category 7,
Right.
But most average Florida residents, I would say, would get a little uneasy once it hits about a category 3.
Yeah.
Because then you're probably going to lose power at some point. You could have some damage to your house or something, like some roof tiles down, some trees down, whatever, and definitely like the rain and all that. So you got to have like food and supplies and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So it's, thinking about someone maybe that's traveling here on vacation, do you think, if they see that a category 3 is going to be here, assuming that their trip has not already been canceled and they're here, they got to dig their heels in. What precautions, if any, do you think you would recommend?
Ooh, well, this is the hard part because you really want to get to the stores like as early as possible, because you want to have your canned food, you want to have like a lantern and batteries and flashlights and stuff like that if you can. But for the most part, I feel like once a hurricane is like known to be on the trajectory for here, especially if it is a stronger storm, a lot of the at least like more comfort items like flashlights and things like that and batteries kind of go off the shelf quickly. So like we always keep a stockpile of batteries and flashlights and things like that in the house, like standard, just in case hurricane season comes around and it's crazy one year. I mean, obviously the season will come around, but in case there's a bad storm, we don't have to worry about like fighting the crowds. But if you're here, you're on vacation, you want to get non-perishable stuff. So get like, this is your time to get like all the junk food you want and that's dry and keep it in your hotel room.
Exactly.
Wherever
it's a good
you're
excuse
staying.
to get snacks.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a time to be dieting. You just got to get whatever will keep you like, fed for a day or so, and then fresh water for sure. You want to get gallons of water.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And I think it kind of depends on the trip that you're taking, because we always assume that people are going to be staying in a hotel, but lots of times Airbnbs are becoming more and more popular. So you're not going to be able to just go to the front desk and be like, what the hell do I do next? There might not be somebody there to answer you, or, if you're renting a condo or something like that. So definitely you want to have things that, assuming the power goes out, I think that's always the biggest thing, right? I saw a meme the other day that was like, Floridians aren't afraid of hurricanes. They're afraid of the electricity going out. So true. And it's true. And it sounds funny, but all it takes is more than 1 or 2 days of your power being out and you are like a wild person.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is the heat. Like, I don't even care about the lights necessarily because it's like, okay, yeah, it's annoying and it's tedious. But like if you have a lantern or even if you have like some candles, if nothing else, like there was one year we couldn't get a lantern to save our lives, which is why we now stock them in the house. We had a bunch of candles around, so it's fine. It works. But like the AC is the killer part. You get hot quick because Florida's still hot. Just because there's a storm doesn't change that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, that's also one thing to think about, if you're planning a trip during peak hurricane season, in September or late August. Because, if you're staying at a bigger hotel, they're probably going to have backup generators. Like, we talk about Orlando area hotels a lot, and, definitely Miami and Tampa. You might not even lose power. So that's something that you might want to ask about or think about, especially if you're traveling with young kids. I couldn't imagine having a toddler trapped in my room with no AC. That sounds like a nightmare. I mean, you're the resident expert on screaming children, but...
Yeah, we only went through, I think it was just Irma that we went through with Zoe when she was little. She was around 1, I want to say. And we had this sounds crazy. We had an emergency room just in case, like, because the unfortunate part of having hurricanes is sometimes you have tornadoes that like spawn off of those because the weird pressure changes with the storms, yada, yada. So you got to be mindful for if there's a tornado too, not to like freak out any audience members who that would throw off. But, it can happen.
They're not like Twister, F5 tornadoes. They're like tiny baby tornadoes, but still, you don't want to like, drive into one.
Yeah, and I will say, like, we've been living in Florida pretty much our entire lives, and I've never been hit directly by a tornado ever, not in hurricane season or any time otherwise. But we do get a lot of tornado warnings, like, certain times of the year. So, you just want to have a room where you can go to just in case. So since it was our first hurricane with Zoe, we had this closet like under the stairs, and it was like perfect size. We put her pack and play in there, and it was seriously like Harry Potter's like bedroom under the stairs,
Yes.
And we put her toys in there and her pack and play and everything, and it was perfect until we did a test run of closing the door, and she lost her mind.
And she screamed.
But yeah, she sure did. She lost it. But aside from that, it was safe. She would have been alive. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if they're screaming, they're not dead. That's what I always say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was looking at this year's hurricane season because, of course, every year the meteorologists and the Weather Channel are like, this year's going to be the worst year for hurricanes in known history. Every year. So, that starts to fall on deaf ears after a while. But It is worth noting that the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season was the 4th consecutive year that's on above average frequency, as well as particularly damaging storms. And meteorologists are predicting 2020 to be just as active, if not more. As of July 2020, an unusually high number of early storms in the season caused several major organizations, such as the Weather Company and AccuWeather, to adjust their initial projections and increase the number of expected storms and major hurricanes for the year. That was from TripSavvy.com. Thank you, TripSavvy.com. Yeah. Hurricane Hannah was the first hurricane of the 2020 season, passing by Florida and growing into a storm and then intensifying in the Gulf of Mexico until reaching Texas as a Category 1 on July 25th. It was the earliest H-named storm ever. So for those that aren't aware how the naming system works, why don't you explain it? What's the
totally
significance of H named storm? I don't understand.
So basically, I don't know who devised it. I mean, it's pretty smart, but it's kind of silly at the same time. It's not very scientific.
Right.
They basically start from the letter A and go all the way through Z every calendar year. And
Hurricane
I think
Zoila.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, I don't know
if
how
we get to Hurricane Zoila, it's been a bad year.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like they've had seasons even where they have to go through and do another A, B, and C because they cycle through the alphabet already. But it's not just for hurricanes, right? Isn't it tropical depressions? Once you're a depression, you get a name? Is that how it is? Yeah. Yeah, so H, that would mean, what, A, B, C, D? So that'd be number 8 for the season.
Did you have to count on your fingers? How many letters? Yeah. That's funny. That's
like
good.
I said, not incredibly scientific.
Right, exactly. That's what they're doing over at the Weather Channel too. Don't.
Yeah,
forget.
They want to make sure everyone can understand.
Right. Yeah. So we already got Hurricane Hannah and now Hurricane Isias. And who knows who's next. But knowing all this...
I bet the Weather Channel knows.
Yeah, they definitely know. Because I think they name them in advance. So you can go and see.
They do,
You can play Hurricane Bingo and see if it ever gets to your names.
Make it a
terrible game. Yeah, let's make it a drinking game. Yeah, that's fun. I'm in.
Something to do when the power's out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you just drink until you don't care that the hurricane's coming your way anymore. So knowing all of this is the key. And you don't have to panic. You just have to be prepared. Some of the best deals and coolest events in Florida happen during hurricane season. So there's typically Halloween Horror Nights happens during hurricane season, even though that is canceled for this year. We have Food and Wine Fest in Epcot, which is a great time to visit. Beach days are the best in the summer and the early fall. We have Fantasy Fest down in Key West, not for the faint of heart. You don't want to bring baby Zoe to that one, but it does go on in October, just before Halloween time. There's also the Songwriters Festival in Key West and Art Basel in Miami, which is a huge pop-up art event. Lots of musicians go and hang out, and they do art installations. So that's really cool. No, I couldn't find any thumbs up or thumbs down as to if they're planning on doing it next year, but it was canceled for June in this year. But assuming, we take Corona out of the equation, there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in Florida during hurricane season. Yeah. So
I'm sure a lot of sporting events.
Yeah, lots of sporting events. So we are going to move on to our favorite segment. It's called Tips and Dip. Oh, damn it. I hit the wrong button. It's called Tips and Dip.
Wait, was that a wah-wah-wah
yes.
sound? I'm dying at the accuracy.
Let me try this again. I got a new mixer here, so it's called Tips and Dip.
Tips and dip.
Tips and dip.
Tips and dip. Tips and dip. Tips and dip.
There you go. It's Tips and Dip. That makes more sense.
I'm dying still.
So now we're going to get to the nitty gritty because we bored you with all the science. We want to go around and share some tips on how you can get the most out of your vacation that happens during hurricane season, assuming you get some rain. So let's assume that you get hit with a tropical storm, or you hear that something like that might be coming, or you're just really scared now because we scared the crap out of you about hurricane season. How do you help our friends at home plan their trip?
Well, definitely always good to have a plan B, like we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Always make sure that if, even if it's just like a normal, rainy Florida summer day, which sometimes that can be gone in 30 minutes or an hour. Sometimes it can last a few hours, but, we're a tropical state. So tropics, those, flash showers kind of come and you don't necessarily know when they'll hit or how long or whatever. Always have a plan B if you can. An indoor option, something that you and the friends or the family can do. But yeah, back up, even if that's staying in your hotel or staying wherever it is you're staying and having like a pizza night or a movie night or whatever, just make it simple. Don't stress yourself out too much about it because it will probably happen, especially if you're staying here like a week or more or something like that. You'll probably hit a rainy day.
Right. Yep, for sure.
Have some downtime activities. Yeah. That would be my biggest tip.
Yeah. I think a big one too is, like you said, even if it's not a tropical storm or depression, Florida's really weird with the rain in the summer. Like you can get really bad rain clouds and it can like flash pour for 5 to 10 minutes and then it's over and it's sunshine.
Yeah, literally. And it'll be the heaviest rain you've ever seen.
Yeah. And you're like, wow, okay, everything's ruined. It's the apocalypse. I don't know what to do. And then it's over. I think that's probably the weirdest thing for people that are traveling from out of the state because other places, if it's raining, it's pretty much raining all day. If not the entire weekend. Yeah. So it's not like that here. But, definitely, we talk about the parks a lot. I think, talking about that kind of quick rain or those quick showers, bring some backup clothes, even if you're not going to a park, but maybe you're going out hiking, like maybe you're doing something in one of the state parks, the national parks, and you're not going to have access to your car or anything. You might be able to put a poncho in your backpack. Yeah. Or some dry socks to change into.
Yeah, really. That's a good point. Yeah, and you'll see too, like a lot of Floridians wear like sandals or flip-flops like all the time. Yeah, and there's good reason for that because if you don't have to wear sneakers, don't, because honestly, flip-flops will dry in like 0.2 seconds and you keep wearing them all day long. Whereas if you have wet sneakers all day, your feet will be killing you. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's the worst. And I think, in other places, there's like a stigma around wearing flip-flops. Like it's too casual. Yeah. Like you wouldn't go out to like a nice restaurant in flip-flops or sandals, but everyone's wearing flip-flops literally everywhere. Yeah. You can go to a 5-star restaurant and somebody's wearing flip-flops. So don't feel bad. Yeah. Let your toes out. Unless you're a guy. I don't want to see that. I'm kidding. You can let him in. It's fine. I'm not judging you.
Another thing too that I've seen a lot, speaking of theme parks, is if you know ahead of time that it's going to be a rainy day and you're just bold and you're like, you know what, we're doing the theme parks anyway. We paid money for this. This is the only day we can go, yada, yada. Just wear a bathing suit under like a tank top and shorts and you'll be happy. Like you'll dry off pretty quickly. Yeah. I'm like, I've seen a ton of people do it. I've done it once or twice. I'm like,
and if you're wearing a one piece, it like sucks it in for you, So you're like getting those family pictures. It's a twofer.
Very flattering.
Yeah. I like that. I never thought about that. That's really good.
But yeah, it's again, you're in Florida. You're in a safe place.
Yes, you are. No one's going to judge you. Yeah. We've seen it all. And it's disgusting. Yeah. The human body is not a pretty place most of the time.
It is not, in fact, a wonderland.
Right. Yeah, I don't care what John Mayer says. Definitely, for those of you flying from out of state or driving through the state, think about the cancellation policy for your airline tickets. Right now with Corona, there's a lot of specials, like you can change or reschedule flights. A lot of hotels are doing like last minute cancellations if you chose to. So even though that's not really designed for hurricane season, it's just a kind of a coincidence with everything happening with Corona, but you can use it to your advantage because it's not like a tornado where you hear the horns and you got to get underground. We usually get days, if not a whole week, to plan for what you're going to do. So you could cancel at the last minute and not be out your deposit.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah, and lots of places like Priceline and Expedia and stuff, if you book flights, they will offer trip insurance. So, just think about it because sometimes it's not worth it, but sometimes depending on your investment, it might be. So just read all the fine print. And I think, I'm totally on board with you. Having an indoor plan B for everything is a must. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
When we build itineraries and, we're going to be going somewhere during rainy season or, for someone else, we put a plan B for everything. And you can even you don't have to say, here's my plan B for Monday, here's my plan B for Tuesday. You can just have a few like backup things that maybe you're not dying to do, but if you had to be somewhere indoors, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I will say too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, especially like you said, we talk about the theme parks a lot, but that is a huge attraction for the state, and there's a lot to do in those areas, whether it be like Tampa or Orlando or whatever. But I will say almost every time that we've like legit planned a trip to Disney that's been more than like a day, we have gotten rained on at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, like we were saying, during the summer, the rains tend to come in the afternoon, like around the same time. They don't last super long, like maybe an hour. I mean, it depends, check obviously the local weather, but for the most part, like you'll get those flash flood rains and then you'll be fine. So just plan your lunch or your, whatever meal you want to have, you want to light snack, whatever. Pick an indoor restaurant and just go inside and eat. Like the last time me and Trent actually went to Orlando by ourselves, we went to like downtown or like Disney Springs. And yeah,
did you almost just call it downtown Disney?
I did. Oh my gosh.
What year is this?
I know. I always have to correct myself and say Disney Springs.
That's funny.
You can tell we've grown up here.
Right.
But we actually went to this really amazing seafood restaurant in Disney Springs. And
was it the Boathouse?
We sat and watched. It was.
Yep.
And it was so good. Oh my gosh.
What'd you get? We have to take a food tangent really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly don't remember. I remember we got a lot of food. We got alcohol, we got appetizers and dinner, and I'm pretty sure we got dessert too, so we spent a pretty penny.
Yeah,
but it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
It's not.
And you had a great view from pretty much everywhere in the restaurant.
We did. Literally, you could see the water, and there were boats, and, it was pouring rain, and we were inside, like, drinking and eating it up, and it was awesome. So,
there you go. And you have your table, so you can just order another round if it's still raining.
Yeah, that was literally it. We're, like, looking, and we're slowly eating. We're like, maybe we'll get dessert,
Why get up? Just keep them coming.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it was delicious, and we got to stay dry for a while. So, yeah, have, like, an indoor restaurant plan for that time of day where it's probably going to be rainy, especially if you see clouds going. And just be like, okay, beeline for the restaurant when it starts raining.
Yes, and if you want to be ahead of the curve, you can download yourself like a cool weather application. I use, what is this called? Weather Underground is a good one. So you can see a pretty accurate forecast, and you can get the radar. So you can see if the storm is coming or if it's already there. Do I need to panic and head for shelter, or is it going to be moving pretty quickly? So, so you can be ahead of the curve on that one with your technology.
See, you're even more legit than me. I don't have a weather app.
Well, maybe you should get one. Okay.
We have Clystron 9 on this coast, all right?
You have what?
Oh, well, I guess we're on the same coast, but I said we have Clystron 9 around here.
What's that?
That's like their weather satellite or something. It's like apparently a huge deal.
That's very sophisticated.
But they always say it by name, and I'm like, okay. I guess it's legit. I don't know.
That's funny. So do you have any other tips for our friends out there?
No, I mean, just, do your best to stay dry, think ahead, plan ahead, look at the apps, keep yourself informed because you should not be shocked by rain.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. It's like, it's just kind of like the drink that we created for today. If the rain hands you lemons, then go find out something fun. Go find your equivalent of the eucalyptus steam shower because there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do indoors. So don't get bummed out. Just go explore.
Yep, exactly. And if you're with a family, bring some board games, get some snacks, like I said. It's a good time to have family bonding. It will probably be more fun than you think.
Yeah, right? God forbid
even if you
just
have to have an
hang out with your family inside.
Right? And not have to, worry about your house or dishes or laundry. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, just enjoy the fact that you don't have to do chores.
Yeah. And you're with them in a relatively stress-free environment.
Right. That's good. That's perfect.
It's a good time for wholesome activities.
Yeah. All right. So now it is time for our Just a Day in Paradise trivia challenge. You are playing for one of our sweet sticker packs that represent some of our favorite places in Florida. So here we go. Remember, Lauren, don't answer the question. This is for our friends.
I remember from last
I know you get really anxious. And you're ready to answer it. All right.
I'll try not to steal the sticker pack.
Right. Yeah, thanks. I'll get you a sticker pack. Calm down.
Yeah.
All right. So a tropical cyclone is a compact, low-pressure system fueled by thunderstorms that draw energy from the heat generated by warm ocean waters. These tropical cyclones acquire different names depending on how strong they are and where in the world they are formed. Today we talked all about hurricanes. These form in the Atlantic Ocean. If this same system develops near Asia, what is it called? Dun, dun, dun. If you think you know the answer, let us know on Twitter at The Dip Crew or email me, Steph, at justadayinparadise.com. We will select one winner at random and shout you out on our Instagram story. Good luck. Okay, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Just a Podcast in Paradise. We know you have your choice of travel podcasts, and we thank you for choosing to travel with us. We would love it if you would subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and give us a 5-star review if you enjoyed your time with us today. You can also follow us on Instagram at Just Take a Dip for daily updates on what's happening around Florida, and check out our YouTube channel, Just a Day in Paradise, for destination ideas, restaurant reviews, unboxing things you might want to take on your trip, and copycat recipes from some of our places in paradise. If you want copies of tonight's recipe or any of the recipes that you've listened to over the past weeks, hit us up at Patreon, www.patreon.com/justadayinparadise. Support the Dip Crew, get some cool recipes and merch. We're wishing you a little bit of sunshine wherever you are, and we hope to see you in paradise soon. Say goodbye, Lauren.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Stay dry. Yeah. Jinx. Get your sandals and ponchos out.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you have fun?
Right? I'm like, you gotta, when in Rome, you
Right.
gotta just do as the Floridians,
That's
it. Wear your bathing
Get your
suits,
Jerusalem
have your clothes,
cruisers out.
and- yeah.
Yeah.
Your Jerusalem cruiser.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've seen toes from all